Hi everyone! In this lesson today I'm going to talk to you about how to enhance your portfolio. Your portfolio is your folder of work that we will use to assess and present to the examiner when they come in at the end of year 11, and that is what you'll get your final grade based upon. So I'm just going to talk about the assessment objectives to make sure that everyone's really clear on what we're being assessed in. Each of these is worth 25 marks. And some of the language used in these is not always that clear, so I'm just going to go through it. So AO1 is all about developing ideas. We're going to investigate our project, maybe the design brief we've been given, and the key phrase here is critical understanding of sources. So what this basically means is we're going to look at artists, we're going to look at the work of designers around us, and we're going to take some inspiration from that. From that, we're then going to create some initial ideas, which will probably be sketches, and we'll explore the task and the wider aspects of the task. So for instance, with the restaurant projects, we have looked at designers who've created branding and promotional material for restaurants, but we've also looked at the wider aspects of different eras and different cultures that we might choose to base our restaurant on. AO2 is about refining our work, exploring ideas and trying out different media and materials. So basically we take the rough ideas that we created in the section above, we build on them, we get rid of the ones that don't work so well, and then we try and strengthen our best ideas by trying out different media and techniques so that we can create the absolute best ideas we can. AO3 is all about recording our ideas, so it's our drawing skills, it's also our photography skills. As it says here, we do our own drawings, we take our own photographs, and we explain our ideas in written form. And finally, AO4 is where we present a personal and meaningful response. This is basically our final idea, but it does talk at the bottom about understanding of visual language. So this is where the skill comes in, that understanding of how to use colour effectively, how to use lettering effectively, and so on. So it's our final piece or pieces. For example, in the restaurant project, our final piece would be our logo, our food box, our menu, our gift bag, and then the whole way that we present that together in a final design sheet. All of this work that we create will be put together into an exhibition at the end of year 11, and this is the culmination of the 3 years that you've worked on your graphic design skills. This is going to be a really good opportunity to show off your work, but it's really important that we make sure we've got a really good collection of thorough and detailed work, which also fulfills all of the assessment objectives. I feel personally at the moment that our artist research section is always a little bit less strong than our ideas. You lot are all really good at using Photoshop, you're great designers, but sometimes you don't really want to spend the time at the start of a project thinking it through and researching those artists. So we're going to spend some time during this period where you're not in school, spending a bit of time and getting the artist research skills fulfilled, and also adding some extra marks to that section for AO1. The restaurant project is our main project, and it's going to make up 90% of your grade. Because you were off school for 6 months earlier in the year, we won't have time to do many more projects, so this is going to be our main one. We will get a further 10% from some bits and pieces of work, some of your strongest pieces from previous projects, or maybe just some separate drawing activities or individual pieces of work which might just show another element or another skill. But as I say, most of it comes from the restaurant project. We'll put our exhibition together of your work, and that will allow you to invite friends, family and teachers to come and have a look at it. And we need to make sure that the portfolio is as thorough as possible, so that that exhibition that you put on is really impressive and shows your work off and your skill off to the best of your ability. As I said, we've got a little bit of work to do on AO1 and some artist research. So we're going to create an artist research which fits in really, really well with the restaurant project, and it will just top your marks up in that area to ensure that we can get the best grade possible. The 5 artists that I'm going to allow you to choose from are here. So there's Megan Aldis, Georgina Luck, Joel Penkman, Andrea Turvey and Wayne Thiebaud. Now these are all artists that focus on food and drink in their work, and they've got a range of styles, so I'm going to let you pick the one that most appeals to you. And as I say, this will go with your restaurant project, it'll slot in there with the rest of your work and just increase your grade that little bit. So what we need to include on our sheet, you're going to do this by hand, or if you have access to a computer at home that you can put together your research sheet on, that is absolutely fine. But the things that we need to include are the artist name, so I want a nice title, I want it to look good, spend a bit of time on this, draw out the lettering really accurately, make sure it's neat and well presented. We want some background information about the artist. So remember, this isn't about what month they were born in or what their dad did for a job or any of that sort of stuff. It's all about their art. So it's about their style, it's maybe about what their influences were, if they had other artists that they look to for inspiration. It might be about exhibitions that they've had over the years or what art college they went to and how that affected their art style. But it is about their background information relating to their art. I want some images of their work included on the sheet, so if you're doing this by hand, that would mean printing them out and sticking them on. If you're doing it on computer, then obviously you can copy and paste. If you don't have access to a computer to do your work on there and therefore you can't print any work, then it will just mean that you need to do some extra drawings of that person's work. And then bullet point 4, you can see that I need some drawings of their work anyway, so some of you will end up doing more if you haven't got the computer access. That's absolutely fine. It's developing your drawing skills, and also it's targeting AO3, which is where your own drawings come into play, so you'll get some marks there for having done your own drawings. Finally, it's your own written analysis of 2 pieces of their work. So I want you to pick a couple of pieces of work that you particularly like, and then you're going to do a really structured written paragraph, just like we've done in school, where we've looked at the media they've used, who the target audience of the piece of work is, the colours they've used and what sort of effect that has on the audience. We've done this lots, okay? So remember what we've talked about in school about how to structure your writing of the artist's work. Your opinion really counts. Please don't copy it off the internet, off their Wikipedia page. It will be irrelevant. I want to hear what you think about their work. Okay, so here's the artist's work. So we've got Wayne Thiebaud. He's more historic. He's from the mid 1960s and 70s. He tended to paint in oils, and his work was very colourful, all focused on sort of 1950s and 60s type party food, ice creams, milkshakes and sundaes. Joel Penkman, okay, he is a more modern contemporary artist. He focuses on food that is nostalgic to him, foods that remind him of his childhood. So for instance, the Fab Lolly, the Rocket Lollies, these are things that he remembers from his childhood and that partly made his childhood happy, so he sort of celebrates his childhood through the paintings of the food that he remembers. Andrea Turvey, a very different style, a bit what we call a bit looser, not as realistic, a bit more slapdash with the paints and the inks, and she has done lots and lots of illustrations for actual famous restaurants. So she's done lots of menus for restaurants and also illustrations for food magazines. So she's more contemporary. She's working now. She's a modern day illustrator. Megan Aldous, she is a well-known oil painter. Some of her paintings go for £5,000 or £10,000. You can see that she's there painting a canvas of the party rings. Again, biscuits that are very nostalgic, that take us back to our childhood, to parties that we might have had. So yeah, Megan Aldous, she is a current artist as well. And Georgina Look, a very different style. Again, a bit more slapdash. She uses a lot of loose inks. She does the sort of splatter effect often afterwards, which gives it a really kind of fresh, modern look. And you can see some of the classic British foods that she's illustrated on there, so Heinz beans and chocolate orange and so on. So you're going to choose one of these artists. I want you to just recap over what we need to include. So we need the artist's name, written in an interesting style. We need some images stuck down from the internet or copied and pasted. Please don't use pixelated ones. And we need some analysis. So I want you to analyse at least 2 pieces, not one. Okay, 2 pieces, using the analysing artist prompt sheets that we've used in school. And if you're not sure what to write, a quick Google or a quick check on Pinterest. You'll find loads of artist research sheets on Pinterest if you type in GCSE art research, and you'll be able to find out again or recap your memory on the sorts of things you should include. So you'll need to draw some lines to make sure that's nice and neat if you're writing it out by hand, or obviously if you're doing it on the computer you can use a word processor to do that. Really crucial part of the artist research is to have a go at doing some artwork in that artist style. So the easiest option here is to do a straightforward copy. Take a section, so a corner or a central part of the painting, and just copy it as accurately as you can. That is the easier option. The harder option, definitely more challenging but very worthwhile for a number of you, is to do a piece of work in their style. So you might take an everyday food item such as a pint of milk or a can of soup, and you could have a go at drawing it and colouring it and designing it in the style of the artist that you've chosen. So the studies are really important. This is going to give you lots of marks for some of the other assessment objectives, not just for AO1. It's going to start working into AO3 and AO2 as well. So really worthwhile doing that and doing it as well as you can. And you can see there's some examples here where people have not only stuck images in but then also experimented in the style of that artist. So I think that about sums it up. Just to recap, it's an artist research sheet. It is in the style of one of the 5 artists that I've included here. So I would start by Googling all of them and having a look. A quick Google or a quick look on Pinterest for all of them will give you a good flavour of their style. And then you need to pick one and put together your sheet. Remember, layout and presentation is really crucial here. So make sure you spend a bit of time planning it first. You can do this on A4 or on A3. Probably A4 you won't fit everything on, so you might want to do 2 sheets of A4. That's absolutely fine. When we get back to school we can scan that in and put that together and make it look smart in Photoshop. Okay, good luck with that everyone. I'm expecting that back at the end of next week, please. You can email that to me to submit the work, and I hope everyone's okay. Take care and look forward to seeing you soon. Bye.